So I mean, again, this has star power to it that it should not have. I mean, even the scene that they had for Pat Roach fails. It
Hmm.
fails. I mean, uh,
A woman and a warrior. A man and a master. A child and a prince.
Kill them.
Together, they will battle the forces of evil. Red Sonja, a legend is born. Red Sonja, rated PG-13. Now playing. Check newspapers for a theater near you.
Here we are, a long time coming, and we'll tell you a little story as we get going here in a minute. That sometimes being a YouTube creator has some interesting journeys along the way, and not always for the meek. So we'll get to that in just a moment. We'll welcome Baron to the show. Baron, thanks for coming, hanging out, talking cool movies with me, my friend.
always happy to do so, man. Always happy. This is a highlight for me for well, normally every fortnight, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's a fun little adventure.
We are having a good time together, hanging out, watching some movies that some folks may not even be aware of, let alone have seen. Some stuff we've never seen. Sometimes are their first time watches. This is going to be about Red Sonja, which is sort of a first time in a really long time for me. Yeah. So this is definitely one we'll go back and get to. Before we do that, though, I want to give everybody a little heads up here. So behind the scenes, just like us all know, people ask like, "What's it like being a YouTuber?" Or "Do you want to be a YouTuber?" And "Do you want to create content?" Whatever. Let me just be real for you for a moment. So this is literally the fourth time Baron and I have tried to record this. So some things was my fault. Like I had some wires crossed. Baron's wife had a procedure done, had the wires crossed. Oh, not days, can't do that day. That's fine, right? Then we had a situation where my dog had gotten very ill and just tragedy, and we had to make a decision there. And it's not a good place. You can't always be in the right mental place to do this. Like I don't think that it's even. I don't want to ever fake it. Baron, if we're not having fun doing this, what's the point of doing this? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
it's
exactly.
yeah. I got a day job. I didn't sign up for another one, so that was another bump in the road. Then we recorded. I believe there is footage. I didn't even look to see if it. I'm assuming it captured it. I didn't look at it. About 10 minutes or so in, then
Yeah.
the gods above decided they were going to take away all of Baron's power, and just boom, power's out. And the best part was, I didn't know what's going on. I am regularly clicking the wrong buttons. I am regularly doing something wrong. We're regularly experiencing issues, and then finally I got the text from Baron. Hey, yeah, power's out.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm going,
so here we are.
help.
Yeah. So Baron, you've been doing stuff with Mike over on Pacific. You've been doing stuff for yourself. You've done other shows, that kind of thing. Do you have words of advice for folks out there who think, hey, maybe I should do YouTube? Maybe this is something I could actually do?
Well, my advice would be is one, like you said, have fun. That's the big thing, and expect the unexpected. If you're doing it live or even recording like this, well, if you, more so with if you're live, you're working without a net. Anything can happen,
Mm-hmm.
and roll with it. And if you're doing a recording like this, sometimes things get in the way, and the best thing you can do is laugh about it. It's
Yeah.
that's the best I can because we're not professionals. We're technically you want to go down to it. We're kind of amateurs at this. We're just doing this for fun, and that's the important thing. And there's even in the professional world, there's a lot of bumps. So the big thing is let it be water off a duck's back and just
Mm.
enjoy, laugh about it. Even like what we're doing right now, talking about it and explaining what was going on and having a little bit of
Yeah.
a chuckle about it because it's not going to destroy you. And if you have people that like you and follow you and all that, they understand. So uh, they can laugh along with you or chuckle along with you or sometimes at you, as usually what happens to me on podcast.
That last point is probably one of the best ones because our lizard brains, our like tribal brains, is our worst enemy with this kind of thing because you always feel, oh my gosh, the stream did this. I kicked out, my power went out. This is what happened. people are going to judge me, and I'm going to die. I'll be kicked out of the tribe. Like, it's just your tribal brain, lizard brain focuses on that. When reality is, especially in the case of recording like this, other than you and I, no one else in the world was affected. I mean, I guess our significant others are to certain extents, but for the
Right.
most part, there's no other real impact of things, and the world will keep turning. And I think that it is so hard to face some harsh realities of, we're kind of like extras in most people's movies. You know
Right.
what I mean? Like, it's our interactions and our time together, which is what we should build our bonds and our focus on. And there are bumps on the road. It'd
Right.
be no different if we were getting together in real life. We'd be like, oh, I had a flat tire, the car broke down, baby got
Mhm.
sick. It's all the stuff that happens. And I
Right.
think people in the content creation circles just get so bent out of shape. So I thought we just have a little clip. I'll clip this and make this kind of, in addition to the Red Sonja conversation we're about to have. If you're seeing this, just, a little bit of that, real life behind the scenes kind of stuff. I don't do enough of that, but I felt like this was something worthy of conversation. So
Well, yeah, I mean, doing twice a week with Pop Talk with Mike there. Uh, there's a lot of audibles that happen, and there's a lot of things that hit the fan, and it's just like you just gotta learn how to roll with it,
mhm.
and and that's the important. Just learn how to roll with it and just have fun because and learn how to do audibles. It's like boom, okay, we're gonna have to change something a little bit here because it didn't work right, and people understand. I mean, if they do.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. Well, thank you, Baron, for that. I think hopefully all of you folks, any value at all with that, feel free. Leave your comments. Let us know. Red Sonja, my friend. I tell you what,
Yeah,
I had not watched this, like I said before, many, many moons.
yeah,
I was sort of like in a place where, I mean, I kind of like knew and remembered, but also, and again, like I said, we recorded like 10 minutes or so about Red Sonja, but the fact that Arnold is not Conan, the fact that it feels like the major step downs, right? From Conan Barbarian to Destroyer, and then a massive step down. And like I said, that the whole film with its whole backstory of development and the development of chaos, we're going to change directors and how much are they going to spend, and all. This surprised me of how bad it was. It surprised me of what a story of missed opportunities it was.
yes.
What is your general high level assessment in that regard?
This movie should have been great. This should have been a great movie because this is so packed with talent
Hmm.
across the board. I mean, right down to the director, Richard Fleischer, whose father did the was Max Fleischer. Of course, you already got the power of Arnold Schwarzenegger in there. Many of the actors, the music, everything. This thing should have been a massive, massive, powerful hit, and should have been at least above Conan the Destroyer. And it seems like everything that could go wrong with this did. And it's a shame because so much wasted talent on this. Now, I hadn't seen it since probably when I saw it on cable when they released it on cable and not since then.
Hmm.
I've kind of softened up to it because I know I hated it when I first saw it. It's like, come on, I want Conan. Why isn't it Conan? Well, copyright issues, stuff like that, blah 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 blah. I'm actually a little bit more soft in my heart a little bit to it, and just more than chuckled through. But the funny thing is just like when I first saw it, it's not memorable. It's like okay, what was happening? It just was so disjointed that way. What happened? You know,
Hmm.
and that's what you don't want with a film. I mean,
Yeah.
the same thing with the Rise of Skywalker. Going through is like, what's memorable? I can't give anything. You walk out kind of. Well, walked out of this amused, but
Hmm.
with Rise of Skywalker is like, man, which you don't ever want for a movie. You don't want a meh. But this one, at least I walked off with at least a chuckle and laughing at some stuff. It's like
Uh,
at least so that's
it,
better on that aspect.
your assessment of how disconjointed it all is probably even more accurate than you realize, and I don't think I even kind of had my finger on that until you said it. Um, because I feel like there's so many elements of the movie that just don't seem like they kind of go together, right? You have all of these
Yeah.
different scenes and segments of the story, but they're almost like they are issues of the comic book or issues, pieces of Howard's work, but they don't flow together really well. Now, admittedly, I'm going to throw a lot of shade at Brigitte Nielsen, and I'm sorry, it is her first film. She is an unskilled actress at this point. She's just basically just been doing modeling. She's obviously a very, lovely, tall lady. She's over 6 foot tall. Seems like she'd be an ideal choice for this. And they
Mhm.
dress her up accordingly, and they do their thing. And they bring in other great performers from other stuff. We kind of have some cool sets and some interesting scenery shots and stuff. But at the end of the day, I feel like we're just watching like pieces of like a TV series. Like I feel like I'm watching like highlight scenes. It's like they don't
Mhm.
flow in a journey that I enjoy being on. And the overall story arc, I think, is just very. I don't know about you. Did you feel like you could like get into it much? I didn't. I still don't feel like I care a ton. Like the whole setup stuff with all the girl. I'm fine. Like, I'm going to get a still here of the shot with the ceremony and the gem, and it's like
Right.
I don't have enough. They didn't get enough buy-in from me, if you will. They kind of make her
No.
magical, right? So she's just going to be this super tough girl. They're trying to at least explain the girl power.
Mhm. Sorry, you broke up there, so I can't. I lost your volume. Maybe it's me. Uh, is it- hmm. Yeah, I can't hear you. Yeah,
Can you hear me?
now I can hear you. Now I can hear you. Can
All
you hear
right.
me? Okay.
I do hear
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Okay. So I can hear you.
All right, hold on one
So
second. I have a video playing in the background and I don't know where it's playing from.
oh, okay.
There
Here
we
I thought
go. Okay.
okay. The fates are sitting back
Nope.
saying, "We don't want you to talk about this."
Okay. There I got it. Okay. I don't know where I left off. I'll splice it together and just throw it back to you.
Okay, so
Of
you're talking about
why I
yeah,
just
you were
didn't feel
talking
like I connect and
right.
relate much to this sequel.
Mhm.
They just didn't win me over much, Baron. I just feel like
Right.
I didn't. They didn't win total
Well,
buy-in for me. Maybe that's the best way to say it.
well, yeah, I mean the thing is I'm purposely going uber slow. Is like, really honestly, you're going to make it go that slow. It was disjointed. The sword fighting was horrible in there. Uh I mean, just watching it, it was just like, you got to be kidding me. Just like, okay, swing, swing, swing. I
Look
mean,
at this girl's
the
face.
thing was is there's
It's
a
just
lot of
god
pretty
awful.
ladies. Yeah, it was horrible. It was horrible. I mean, a lot of pretty ladies. But the one thing I will sit back and say is memorable about this is exactly what we sat back and said. The countryside, the cinematography, the sets, they were all so beautiful. Which is another thing that's taking to the point that this should have been a greater film than it was. When you have all those elements and it's like boom, and like you were saying, it would probably because it was being written on the fly. But yeah, I mean, it didn't have the proper build up. It didn't have the proper uh when it came when it hit the fan, you might say.
Hmm.
Uh it's just like, okay, now it's time to swing your swords. Okay, enjoy. Okay, those that are living, we're going to throw you down the well and close this up. So you're permanently down there and die of starvation and whatever. I mean, it's supposed to be something that's horrifying and such, but because everything leading up to it, it was it didn't have that impact. It just didn't have that impact.
We talk about it kind of loosely here, but I want to get to Richard Fleischer's bringing in. He wasn't really going to be the director. They bring him in. He did Conan the Destroyer, so they bring him in. He's sort of
Yeah.
like the default guy they go to, and a guy that I really adore. I really love his work. 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea is one of my
Oh
favorites.
yeah.
And then, of course, I love his biography. I think it's phenomenal. I probably need to do a video or two just pulling excerpts out of how great this guy's
Hmm.
stories are. He's so transparent. And
Hmm.
here he kind of brings in that writer that he's used to working with, George Fraser, who's basically doing all these, writing on the fly, rewriting thing. I'm. This is that gobbledygook mess of a film that kind of deserves to fail because I don't even know what the original premise is. We've gotten so far away from, I think, what they originally were trying to do as a follow Conan by bringing in Red Sonja and Arnold, that they wanted to do these things. However, there's so many problems. They bring back is her name Sandahl Bergman, Miss Bergman, who played
Yeah.
Valeria. They bring
Right.
her back, but she's not the same character either.
Hmm.
Eh, eh, I, I know that it would be easy to get those same people back, and there's some fan service there. But I also feel like maybe that it was a disservice. Maybe this film should have had Dolph Lundgren and another. You know what I mean? Maybe they should have had different. It's almost distracting that I'm watching characters that are not the characters that they were 5 seconds ago.
Well, I mean, with Sandahl Bergman, they did put the mask on her and give her dark hair, so that helped disguise her up a little bit. But she was the original choice, or one of the original choices to play Red Sonja, and she said, "No, I want to play the bad girl in this case." So at least she did something that was going to be a bit different than what she had done before. Being the love interest of Conan and this warrior goddess, you might say, in Conan the Barbarian. So at least she did that and was wanting to expand out a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, it's almost like your typical. Well, I mean, uh, they did bring in a lot of people from other movies that we'd be so familiar with that weren't involved with Conan, but you know, uh, it's again, this should have been so great. This should have been so great. It wasn't. It
I,
just wasn't.
I think there's also that cheekiness, that silliness too. Like we're bringing
Yeah.
in uh,
Oh,
uh, Tarn, and this didn't age well for me. Poor Ernie Reyes. I know that this seemed like it must have been a big deal for him. He's obviously more famous as being a stuntman
right,
and working in doing different stunts and motion capture and stuff than he is about being in front of the camera. And
right.
this didn't help his case any, in my opinion. It has not aged well at all. It's quite an irritating uh, set of sequences, if you will.
Yeah,
However, he at least has a little character journey where he becomes, Red Sonja kind of like keeps
right.
pushing back. And everyone's trying to correct this guy. He's basically just like the loser prince of his kingdom that doesn't really even exist anymore. But he kind of starts to learn some humility, take some
Mhm,
lessons from her, and it's
right.
fine. There's a shot of Sandahl
Yeah.
Bergman, but and there's some great scenery shots.
Oh, beautiful. I
Yeah,
love that bridge thing. That
and yeah, it's
wooden
beautiful,
bridge.
beautiful shots. Really, really is.
Yeah. Oh.
But here's Falcon with him. Eh, There are moments that I think were fine, and like I said before, and I think this is a sad thing that Brian, we keep ending up in these things of missed opportunities. Even when things have been that we've
Right.
enjoyed that have been good, we always feel like, there was so much more opportunity here to be
Mhm.
even bigger or better or whatever. Red Sonja is going to
Well,
be a real extreme example of how they got certain things correct. Again, sceneries, location
mhm.
shots, set design, costuming, headed in
My
the right direction on so many of these things. Oh
And
man.
of course, Falcon being played by Paul Smith. I mean, what
Mhm,
a great actor he was. He was, of course,
mhm,
Bluto in Popeye. He was, of
mhm.
course, the Beast Raban in Dune. I mean, he's been all over the place for being an actor, and
Mhm.
I thought he did a good job in this, but it's wasted.
Yeah, it's just he's almost like forgotten it because we have the Arnold Schwarzenegger character, and we end up wanting to focus on Lord Kalidor and not
Mhm.
this character. He's sort of like, and he doesn't even offer really comic relief anymore. He just sort
Right.
of like just not part of things. So it's really kind of disappointment again. But yeah, you're right. When he's on camera, I think he's fine, and his moments
Oh
are,
yeah.
are good enough, but just not enough of him
Right.
to kind of carry some of the water, a little bit weight. But it's basically just a quest and a journey, and you have them going back and forth. And she basically has this sort of admonishment of men unless she loses to one in battle. They kind of
Mhm.
fight to a draw, and like you said, here's Arnold giving him what's for. Like, you need some manners, little man. This is
Mhm.
them. They basically just fight till they pass out,
Yeah.
and it was that's. I mean, so cinematically boring as all get out. This is not what anybody wants. I can understand in the context of the novel and the writings that you're trying to build this long, slow paced romance of how he's going to win her over and he's going to,
Right.
persevere. And right, I get it. But cinematically, this is just boring and lame and uninteresting.
Mhm.
Um, yeah,
I
here he
mean,
is
even with
getting.
the yeah, there's the kid, and of course he is battling there. Pat, not Pat Roach. It was uh, what's his name again?
Yeah, that's Pat Roach. Brightog, right?
Yeah, by Tug.
Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, and that
No,
was
Ronald. That's Ronald. That's the Ronald Lacey character. Yeah,
Ronald
Ronald
Lacey.
Lacey character.
That's the name I was trying to remember. Pat
That's
Roach
I
was
call. Yeah.
yeah, and who played Tote in the Raiders of the Lost Ark,
Yep.
amongst other things. I mean, so it's interesting seeing him playing. And I thought again he's a quality actor. I thought he did good. Is this trying to swim? He's an excellent swimmer in a river of excrement, and and it's nice to see him doing something that was different than Tote. It shows that range that he
Yeah.
did have. So it's nice to see that. One of the other things too that is the problem is you're talking about before with the Arnold character Lord Kalidor, the pseudo Conan, and her is even the tragedy that Red Sonja had in the beginning, where her family's killed, murdered, and she is gang taken advantage of. I'm trying to be as political, nice as possible. And of course, the spirit saying, "You not be with another. You cannot be with a man unless he can best you." It was weak. It did not
Hmm.
have that effect. I mean, you take a look at Conan the Barbarian and how when uh, uh, James Earl Jones comes in, massacres the village, and decapitates his mother's head. Uh,
Hmm.
and and how powerful those scenes were compared to this. It's like, what? It should have been much more powerful.
And she's not young in that opening sequence either, folks.
No.
It's basically like it feels like that was Tuesday. So I think the fact that there's not a time jump also hurts it because you don't have the character that has had to grow in that pain, and that's their own motivation.
Mhm.
It's their fuel to carry on. It was Tuesday. Now we're on Friday, and she's doing this like she's on her. I mean, it's like that's literally kind of how I felt. That it was all kind of very generic. Uh, I think
Well,
that
and they
Arnold is kind of fun with it when they're doing their
mm,
stuff, but he can't even
no.
pick it up enough, if that makes sense.
Right, exactly. I mean, he's trying to have fun with it as best as possible. You can tell, but even he knows that what a turd to polish here. I think he just kind of went into a switch mode of instead of being utterly serious, let's just have fun with it because that's the only way
Mhm.
I'm going to go. I mean, he even was recorded to say that this was his worst movie, and he did Hercules in New York. Okay, so he considers this his worst movie, and he says he used it to punish his children. It's like if they got bad, they'd be forced to have to watch Red Sonja.
That's true.
And
I remember that now. Must have worked
mhm,
because they're pretty well behaved, right? And he had little jokes about that. Yeah.
yeah. Uh, thing is we didn't get a good explanation, right? Her family gets all massacred, but yet there's that one sister. But we don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing to tell us why the one sister is not there. No, they could, that no. Again, it's just a couple of drops of a line saying that she left when she was young to join the sisterhood, or something like that. Because it's like, well, we were led to believe everybody was massacred in her family, and now she's got this. Well, I thought very cute uh, sister that's working in the with the temple. I mean, in many ways, I think she could have been a better Red Sonja because I think she actually did have are close to real red hair. Um, she was known for being an actress in what we used to call the Skinamax films, the
Yep. Yep.
those quote unquote exploitation films. But uh, and again, it gets me that they list the credits of Red Sonja's family when we only see him for a blink of an eye. It's like, why?
Yeah. Yeah. And they waste. They just waste so much opportunity where we end up. As we move through this quest, and we have these great moments where you
Mhm.
the action just doesn't ever sort of like build on each other. They kind of
Right.
start and they stop. And you have something maybe where they'll talk for a while or sit around for a while. They have action and they stop and
Mhm.
they don't do
Right.
anything. They sit around for a while and then so because
Mhm.
then you end up with like these moments with like beautiful sets and like okay, this is gonna be
Oh
kind of
yeah.
cool. And you bring in your look at how much money we spent, all these cool candles, and we're gonna put this gem. We're gonna harness its power. We're gonna do all this really cool stuff. Here's some of those little priestesses. Uh, and I think the effects of everything appear to be fine, and we kind of
Yeah.
work through the sceneries and the environments well. But at the end of the day, I just don't. There was no like fluidity, like you said. It just disconjointed. It was a very good way to
Right.
describe what happened with this movie.
And that's just it. It basically, again, it was the cinematography, the landscape, the special effects, in the form of paintings and the model work. I mean, those models of the temple and the castle were just excellent. And of course, the sets. Those are the things I walked away uh,
Hmm.
with how good this film, and those are the most memorable things, really. I mean, we should be, especially back when it first came out and being in the teenage years with the hormones running through the big thing should have been walking away with images of Nielsen dancing through thy head, and it didn't even do that.
No, there's nothing seductive at all. You think there might be in a couple different moments, and again, this is their story, their angle of her repulsion towards men and Arnold,
Right,
and oh no, and it just keeps the lack of chemistry away. So you end up not even having sort of like any real sex appeal that kind of grows. She's
right,
okay and amiable and pleasant to see her be kind to the little boy and kind of
yeah.
nurturing to him. She's kind of growing to the Arnold character, but every time there's a step forward, step back, or there's something else that's just distracting. So, like for instance, this is the robot creature thing,
Oh
which is
yeah, that.
which was
Oh yeah.
probably some of the worst elements was that the little boy wants the the jewel that's in its mouth, but basically when
Mhm,
you take the jewel out, then it comes alive, and then they
mhm,
have this sequence where they're fighting it in the water. I guess the photos are not in order, um, and that ultimately requires the Arnold character, Lord Kalidor, to come along and start stabbing it and finding a way to. I was bored out of my mind with this sequence, man. I thought this would be
yeah,
I totally forgot it. I mean, I don't remember hardly any. I didn't remember much about this film other than her and Arnold fighting, which
yeah.
turned out to be dull and drab and very uneventful.
And
But yeah, the
if
robot creature thing was pretty subpar, really
mhm.
disappointing.
Well, I mean, that's the funny thing. That's about the only thing I remember from this film from the first time around, Arnold and her fighting, and I forgot they did it twice. I just,
Hmm.
I knew I just remembered the last one. Yeah, this scene was too long. It was too disjointed, too boring. I mean, this is one where they needed to, do some trimming and uh, I don't know, better angles, better shots, whatever. And of course, it's a machine or whatever it is that Arnold said
Yeah,
when he came into
something
it. It's
like that.
like, yeah, and so he starts stabbing at the eyes. It's like, well, what does stabbing in the eyes gonna do for a machine? But
It's
okay,
just
we'll
a
go with it.
machine. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we'll just go with it, and even that didn't really, that was one of the poor effects that they had was the metal worm or whatever it is supposed to be. Um, it just didn't quite come off as convincing. Uh, yeah, I know. It's like about halfway through it, it's like I'm bored. Come on. Oh, look, it's Arnold. Okay, go on. Hey, Brigitte
Well,
Nielsen's all wet. Who cares? You
yeah.
know.
Uh, so the love's going to come down to, and again, I butcher the name. Sorry, it's an Italian costume and production designer, Danilo Donati.
Oh,
Worked with won a couple of Academy Awards, but just has a long list of some successful work in lower budget. Worked on Flash Gordon, which we talk about. Your love for Flash Gordon, of course.
oh
Um,
yeah, Gordon's
and,
alive. I mean, look at
and
me. I look like Brian Blessed. Yes.
yeah, but yeah, this is one of the high point. Those people deserved better than that. The location work, the set designs, and the production costuming, all of this, it all deserved better. And the end, and poor Arnold, he did deserve better.
Yeah.
I guess it's the unofficial conclusion to his barbarian saga, even though that seems
Hmm.
very unfair to him. I've always
Right.
said I don't know why, if Hollywood is in the age of doing all of these reboots and all of these things that they want to do. And again, this is just me. I'm in charge of a studio. I don't know, Baron. I'd be pitching Old Man Conan, and you
Yeah.
have old Arnold making a return on the throne, passing the baton to Conan Jr. I know that might
Hmm.
not even be the name of his child. I don't
Yeah.
think it
Yeah.
is at all.
Can't be.
Um,
No, I'm trying to remember what it is, but I got a bunch of King Conan comics, but so I
yeah,
have to reopen them and start reading them.
yeah. There's a couple different names because I think it's more than one kid, right? But I think it's Karobi or Karaba or something like that.
Something
Anyway,
like that. Yeah.
yeah. Um, anyway, so there's a kid that's an easy. Anyway, I would be setting that up, and I would work at it from that angle to give Arnold a little
Yeah.
proper barbarian moment that he can feel like actually
Yeah.
wrapped up
Yeah. Instead of the
his
Momoa
incredible.
film, instead of doing the Momoa
I don't
film, they
even know
should
what
have
you're
done
talking
that.
about. I don't even acknowledge that that film exists. Um,
Well, no,
I
notice I just said Momoa film. I did not say the character name. There's
Yeah,
a reason I
I saw it once, and I don't even acknowledge that it exists. I don't even know
mentioned
what happened. Um,
that
but
should have
yeah,
been
it'll
King Conan.
yeah it we have our moment. We get it. We get where we want to get to. It's just almost too little, too late. Um, I guess the other thing we
Mhm.
should probably do is give some love for the score. Another
Oh,
great work on the score. Obviously, that's probably some of the best stuff. Morricone is fantastic. So, of
oh
course, he's
yeah,
one of the greats. So there's some good music. There's some good moments. The other saving grace, I think, for me is that it's a pretty short movie. It's
yeah.
90 minutes with credits, basically. So it's a short suffering. You like to refer to Mrs. Long Suffering. Red Sonja, for me at least, was short suffering. Didn't feel like I had to
Yeah.
endure too much in my
Hmm.
distaste. I also, and I wanted to get to this, we can kind of wrap around the. Here. I was really disappointed with the marketing material that I was able to see
Yeah.
that they had. Very generic. It's all pretty
Yeah.
much the same stuff. That was kind of the one of the better ones I started with. They kind of two different versions, but
No,
pretty
that's
much that's
awesome.
the VHS box. There's
Hmm.
our VHS box that we had back in the day,
Yeah, that's
and we
yeah.
had this a little bit later.
Hmm.
But they're all pretty much the same. There wasn't like a lot of derivation or anything. There wasn't really a lot to go on. I
Hmm.
was really disappointed by that. I guess maybe it's because the
Uh,
film is just sort of doomed and was such a failure. There hasn't been sort of a resurgence of
It-
demand
yeah,
for other box art.
well, yeah. I mean, the original poster that you showed there, that was one of them, is awesome. It is,
Hmm.
but then again, the guy who does that did all that is an awesome artist and has done many films and well known in Europe and Italy for doing his art. And of course, needless to say, Hollywood likes to grab him for stuff. I mean, it's almost like another level of um, oh, I got a mental block on his name because there's so many great artists, and it's in the same kind of style of that, and kind of in some ways, in his own way, have a Frazetta, a feel
Okay.
to it
Yeah.
in some sense. Um, so I love that first poster. I mean, you take a look at that first poster, it's like that's gonna draw you in. It's like, oh, we got sword and sorcery here. Look at that. We got a good looking woman with a big sword, and you got Arnold there in his classic Conan pose. This is gonna be freaking great. And then you walk out of the film going, oh.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It was a little disheartening. It was sort of even worse than I remembered, which was kind of sad. I just knew it as a thing that was out there and that I wanted to kind of give a go. I knew they're doing another film later this year even. I don't even know when the new one's
I
supposed to
think
land. It's supposed to be very
I think
soon.
this or early next year, and I don't have hope for it. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I also feel like it definitely when you watch this that you end up with a situation where you're like, huh, it's kind of like this really failed girl boss sort of like mindset and stuff that I just
Mhm.
can't imagine. And they definitely didn't lean into. Look, I understand you're not going to want to have the over feminism, over feminizing the character, too much skin or whatever. I totally understand what you're going because I mean, obviously in the comic book she's literally wearing like a bikini. Like that's pretty much how she spends
Right.
most of her time, right?
Yeah.
So I understand that you're going to have to make some modifications. You want to make some changes there. That's fine. But at the same time, that's kind of the sex appeal. That's the juxtaposition against the Conan mythos. So if you're going to have one, you should go for the other, and then lean into it as much as you possibly can. Just go for it.
Right.
And no one in Hollywood appears to be interested in quote going for it anymore. That's for sure. So
Well, yeah. I mean, you look how Conan was dressed in the films and such like that. So, I mean, that gave women their eye candy, but we can't give the men their eye candy. So, let's dress them up, the woman up as like a nun, and have Arnold out there with his arms out. Um, but yeah, there is a sex appeal because this whether people like it or not, this is a male fantasy universe, male centric. But the thing is, it still grabs women. Women still love it too. Uh, I mean, what's not for a woman to love about Red Sonja? She's a strong woman. She's out there doing her thing. When they sit back and say we've never had heroes or heroines like this, it's like Red Sonja, right? One of them is right on the top that should be thrown out there. Uh, as yeah, sure, she dresses sexy. There's nothing wrong with that. We like beautiful, sexy people, male, female. It doesn't matter. I mean, I don't care about seeing a sexy man, but there's other men, I suppose, that do. But that's neither here nor there. Uh, but a woman likes seeing men in eye candies. That's how Fabio had his career. We like seeing beautiful women as men. There's nothing wrong with that. And we just need to get back to the fact that, we should appreciate beauty. Red Sonja was well, she was tough. She was muscular. She's all this
mhm.
stuff that we were told that we don't like, but we do.
I know. I know.
And I
This
want
is
that. Whoa.
oh wait, I hit the wrong button there. Hang on. Let me go back. No, I'm trying to share. Here we go. I'm trying to add this to the scene
Hmm.
and put it up here. We can see what she looks like. So
Hmm.
this is her picture.
Yeah, at
Um,
least she's closer to Red Sonja in the comics.
yeah, she's not bad. She doesn't look terrible. She looks
Yeah,
small though, so I'm just concerned of how
yeah.
small she looks. But again, we're kind of at the mercy of what we're going to we can or cannot get. That's just going to be how it is. So
Right. And I don't have any hope for it because they just don't know how to do it.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and I mean, and I want to, yeah, there's nothing wrong with appreciating beauty. And we've been told. I mean, just take a look at everything from the Jaguar commercial that destroyed Jaguar on down. It's like, what are you trying to throw at us to entice us?
Hmm.
As it goes, looks sell, whether we like it or not. I mean,
Well,
I'm
that
not
was
that handsome of a man, and I'm not intimidated by him, handsome men.
well, that's all advertising and marketing. It's about handsome
Yeah,
people. Otherwise, and
right.
they've tried to shoehorn fat people and regular people into stuff, and most people are just like, "Ugh, I don't want to look at myself, man. No
Yeah,
offense, I see myself. I don't like walking in front of the mirror as it is. I don't want to see it on the cover of a magazine. Look,
yeah,
I get it. Brad Pitt's a good looking dude. And every time I see him without a shirt on, I'm like, man, you're making us all look really, really bad. But I get it. You got nothing else to do but be in the gym with a personal trainer, and they can.
right.
Fair enough. But I can
Mhm,
at least acknowledge that he exists. I don't understand this weird bitterness and jadedness that's out there.
right.
Red Sonja is hopefully an IP that they, I don't know, maybe it's a small enough studio that they can just feel like we really don't have nothing. That really should be the strategy. My strategy would be to be a small enough studio to do it. I don't care if I lose. Like, you only have X amount of money. You just go all in. And I would have gone out and paid Gina Carano to be the villain, and I would have gone out and tried to find female MMA stars to have more realistic physical fight scenes and stuff that would have been believable in the Red Sonja universe, so
Right.
that it would bring authenticity there with a bunch of athletic and fit, beautiful women that appear to have been the ones who would survive in a sword and sandal universe, because that's the only thing that would be believable. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you bring it up even to modern day. Look at all of us that love Gina Carano. We think she's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Mhm.
It's like, ooh, I can't wait to see a picture of Gina Carano again. And here she is. She's had muscles, fought, all the stuff that we were told that we don't like because she's a strong woman, and what they did to her because she was one. It's just like, but yeah, that was a great idea. Gina Carano was a villain. That had been great in the Red
Well, that
Sun.
and Ronda Rousey, I think, would be another
Yep.
one, right? She's a very
Mhm.
beautiful lady. Has done a lot of good stuff. There are many
Yeah.
others. I'm
She
sure
might
that.
even
I,
Rhonda might have been even a better choice for being Red Sonja. I mean,
yeah, Maisha Tate is another one. Maisha Tate. I don't know how to say her name right. She might be a little. I don't know. I think if we just got her red hair, she's a beautiful lady, young lady.
yeah.
She seems more built than the actress they have. But again, I don't know if these people can act or not. It's part of the problem that I didn't like this movie was the fact that Brigitte Nielsen couldn't act at all, which is wait, but end of the day,
Mhm.
I have to keep the standard, Baron. It's like a 1 out of 5 for me. It
Yep.
is not a good movie, and it's a sad state of affairs because I feel like there are moments like, and the 1 star is really just because the costuming, the sets, and the music is tolerable. It's good enough. Everything else is just so. We've talked about other movies like this. When these, they're not even B movies. They're like the D movies. Do a better job with storytelling. I tend to like have less and less sympathy when they had their chance. And it's a sad thing because I like Richard Fleischer. I like most Arnold movies. I like a lot of the stuff that we talked about. Ronald Lacey, we talked about.
Mhm.
Paul Smith. It's a sad thing. I'm
Right.
pained that. Yeah. So, how about you, my
Oh yeah,
friend?
I mean, you had Pat Roach in there. If people don't know
Yep.
who
Yep.
he was the bald-headed mechanic in Raiders of the Lost Ark that met the pop, 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 and did many things. You had Sven Ole Thorsen in there, one of Arnold's good friends who always seems to pop in. He was in Conan. He was in. I mean, he's always seems to pop in a film that Arnold is in because they were good friends or still are. I don't know.
Yep.
Uh, so I mean, again, this has star power to it that it should not have. I mean, even the scene that they had for Pat Roach fails. It
Hmm.
fails. I mean, uh, what a waste they did with him. Uh, Of course, when it comes to Sven-Ole Thorson, he's always usually in the background or such. It's kind of funny. Just the other day, we watched Hunt for Red October. He's in there as one of the Russian officers, or such on the Red October. I mean, he
Huh.
pops up everywhere. I mean, he pops up everywhere. I give a bucket of popcorn, one popcorn.
Well, yeah.
Again, uh, and I don't find the music and all stuff tolerable. I find the music and the cinematography and all that, again, one of the reasons why it's getting so high of one, because I thought that was the only saving grace, and I thought they were all awesome. And it's like, can we just have all this for a different film, or just redo the film over and just use the sets and all that with different actors? Well,
Yeah.
bring in Arnold,
Like a
but
music video. Can we just do a
yeah,
music video with some of these beautiful sceneries, or
yeah,
can we be allowed? Can you like just put this in the public domain so everyone can just lift all of that scenery and stuff out there and
right,
recut it with some different music and things so we can just enjoy it and make something that'd be another thing you could do too is to figure out a way to do the relicensing of it or something so you
right.
could make $1 or two and then by sort of like putting it out there. So I think is it MGM? Yeah, it's MGM.
Yeah, MGM.
So it's
And
yeah,
and and
Amazon's just gonna just pretend it doesn't
right,
exist and just let it just age out pretty
right.
much, I think.
And a De Laurentiis film, so, I mean, on that. And it's kinda
Yeah.
interesting. One of the people that was, you were saying before about directing it, Ralph Bakshi. What do you think
Mhm.
the film would have been like if Ralph Bakshi would have done it? I think it first of all, it would have been a lot sexier.
Well, that may be why they got rid of it. They may have wanted it to be more in line with Destroyer, to be more PG, right? Because there's no rated R
Right.
at this point. I mean, there's only rated R. There's no PG-13. PG-13 was kind of just but it wasn't. That was this was released in '85, so in '84
Yeah.
is when we get PG-13. So I don't think they
Yeah.
strategically were going that know what to do. So for
Mhm,
them, they were probably trying to tame it down, thinking that was the better strategy. And you're right.
mhm,
That I don't know that we have the press from back then. We would know today because you would have those reports of left for creative differences, which was
mhm.
I wanted to make a rated R movie that was more in line with the original source material. They told me no.
Right.
So they brought in Richard Fleischer, who's all right. Well, I'll just do Conan Destroyer again with this chick. How do I get Arnold
Right.
back? He can't put in.
Mhm.
Okay, can I bring my guy in to rewrite all this? Sure. All right, make him something. Make this person something. Yeah, that's what he
Mhm.
did. That's what he did. So
Yeah, I think this film was PG-13, but boy, there was a lot of heads flying. That's for sure. I mean,
yeah,
I
yeah, we
think
had
it was touching the R-rated on that. So if you're gonna do that, go all out.
yeah, just lean in more. Yeah, lean in more. So
Mhm.
yeah, so but you know what? More than the movie, I enjoy hanging out with you, Baron. I enjoy just hanging out, talking movies, talking shop,
Well,
talking about good stuff.
I'm glad you think of me higher than Red Sonja.
Way higher than Red Sonja, brother. Way higher than Red Sonja. What else are you doing then? Watching that you've actually enjoyed? You mentioned Red Hot Hunt for the Red October. I need to do a Jack Ryan run. I haven't watched them all in a
Mhm.
while, so I love the first one in particular. I think
Yeah,
it's phenomenal. What else
Red
stuff you doing
October is
or watching or
fantastic.
enjoying right now?
Well, I mean, I'm a very boring guy. Usually it's watch parties on Pacific that I'm watching a lot of movie stuff, or stuff I'm going to be watching with you. I just doing some gaming, or even funnier, watching some people gaming on the old interwebs, or basically YouTube is my TV. I don't really
Okay.
watch TV per se, and I got yeah, and it's normally no offense to anybody that's within our community, it's a lot of stuff that's outside of our community, because it's like I deal with everybody here. We all know each other. We're all having fun. It's fun to see what other people are doing on the YouTube, and I like watching bonehead truckers, because I mean.
Mhm.
I mean, this is stuff in the trucking world, and my uncle was a trucker. He had an Optimus Prime semi truck before Optimus Prime came around. Is that a cab over, or whatever they call that.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome.
whenever I see Optimus Prime, I think of my uncle, uh, and he'd park it in the apartment building complex that he and his father, my great grandfather, owned. So it's always was kind of interesting to see that in there. Uh, of course, the only reality show I watch. is live PD, or not live PD, on Patrol Live, on reels, because the real time, watching that all real time, and such. I watched it when it was live PD on A&E until they decided to go weenie. Again, it's fascinating to watch that stuff. People, in real time, working like that. And Sumu's back. The long suffering's really into Sumu. I like Sumu. But she's really into Sumu. She's going through and listing the stats, and learning the phrases and how everything's going. So it's like, and when I sit down and start watching Sumu with her, it's like I'm getting an education.
That's awesome. That's awesome. But
But
see,
it's
that's a,
yeah,
the
it's
part of the
fascinating.
thing is the world is so big. It's you don't get yourself caught up in a lot of the negativity and all the bad stuff for any length of time. Like,
Right.
I did my Superman review, is what it is. I enjoyed F1. I'm going to be in the
Oh,
minority where I still would love to trim a nice 15, 20 minutes out of it, but it's a wonderfully fun film. It's a great film. For that regard, could have been just a phenomenal film if we could just tweak this one little piece that I had an issue with.
mhm.
Been down the rabbit hole with like we're doing Sandler Summer on Talk Hard before we lean into some
Oh,
other stuff, but really that's kind of been a gap to bring in Squeaka on stuff that she had never seen. So she's got a lot of
oh,
like holes in the old resume, especially classic comedy like Blazing Saddles and Naked Gun. So those are some nice first watch experiences to capture that. And it's nothing as great as when you can kind of live vicariously through someone like that on a first watch. And I
mhm.
do that with my grandkids now because now my kids and their kids over here. So I'm always looking for, how about this one? How about that one? And 99% of the times they're like, no, we don't want to watch. They're so adverse to new. It's so odd. The generation of those
Right,
kids is like, I got to figure out how to pierce that bubble of, I can't win them over. Like, how do my resume should speak for itself. I'm usually, because once you turn it on, they're glued.
right.
So I keep trying to do that and
Yeah.
watch things vicariously through their eyes.
Oh,
But
yeah,
yeah,
I
those
mean,
are
when you
kind of the good.
sit them down to watch Airplane, it's like, how can you not, get sucked into that no matter what age you are? It's like, you want your edgy humor, here's some edgy humor. And
Yeah.
uh, of course, a lot of them are too young for it, but all that, but, it's a lot more adult. But I mean, Animal House, I mean, absolutely fantastically funny film. It's funnier than it should be.
Mhm.
Blazing Saddles the same way. Young Frankenstein. Uh,
Mhm.
when you go into, I think we're going to be watching Police Academy here soon.
Oh yeah,
Again,
another
it's
classic.
funnier
Mhm.
than it should be. Yeah, and it's like, yeah, some of it's raunchy in there and stuff like that, but that was us. That was part of the escapism. It's like, okay, this is where we're not going to, be a little bit less uptight. And it's like, okay, oh my God, they're making fun of blah blah blah. Yeah, but they're making fun of everybody,
Yeah,
and
and
that's
and
what
for a new
we
person or
all
a
have.
noob like Squeaka who doesn't know, who starts calling out the fact of why don't we have more movies like why don't we have it's very much a tell of the state of Hollywood. I don't care what anybody
Oh,
says. If you have someone who's not seen movies like this and they see them
mhm.
from 50 years ago and they're like,
Yeah,
where I'm like, there are none in the last definitely the last 5 years. But you
yeah,
can go back about 10, 15, and you go, there's like these two, you know what I mean? It's like people will always point to certain ones. You're like, well, that was actually 2003, or this would be like
yeah.
2000. It's like, it's way longer. We have almost like a time suck where people don't realize how little good stuff has been in the
Yeah.
last few years. But there's also a lot of holes along the way. Like, I think it was like, I think 2006, 2009. There's some years along the way where there are years where there's just not very many good movies. They're just not. So, and we've created a much lower standard in a bar because people don't have exposure to some of these
Mhm.
classics. So, I love
Yeah.
opportunities to expose people to those, and then revisit some like this. Like, oh yeah,
Right.
this one was here, and why it was such a miss. Like, look, they did so many things right. How could you do
I
it?
mean,
How could you do it
y-
better? And I think we talked about that. So.
yeah, and in the '80s, I dare say every year in the '80s had great stuff. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously there were a couple years that were greater than others, but every year still had great movies. And Unlike like you were saying, like in the 2000 whatever. Even now, I mean, just take a look at the sad state of Hollywood. The movies aren't good. They're not bringing people in. So what we're gonna do? Oh, I know what we're gonna do. We're gonna raise the prices.
Well, I
uh,
tell people their brain usually breaks when you start to explain to them that the 80s is actually everything between Empire Strikes Back and Batman. And
right.
they don't think of Batman and original Star Wars in the same sentence. I'm like, yes, that's how incredibly impactful this area.
Mhm,
From Terminator to Back to the Future and the Indiana Jones, and there's so many.
mhm.
It's a long thing, and then the '90s are solid. I'm not going to throw shade at the '90s. The '90s have a
Oh
lot of
yeah.
stuff. It's not the '80s, but it's there. But then whenever you get to the 2000s, you have a massive shift in change, and it's definitely a lot thinner and leaner. And we've
Right.
not really picked up. We've not picked up and steered in the right direction. And the last 5 years is like anemic. It's
Mhm.
anemic. It's really sad. So
But
anyway, so yeah, folks,
the one
let
the
us know
oh
good
sorry.
things.
Oh,
No,
one
go ahead.
thing, just one last thing. The one thing that does hearten me is that Rob Schneider was just talking the other day, and he's saying that comedy is coming back. Comedy is coming back now. It's coming back to where it should be, and we will be kind of shocked how fast it will be here. And I'm already seeing that. I'm already seeing that.
Yeah, I think stand-up
Comic.
stand-up has bounced back, right? I said on Talk Hard, and I would say it again, I think the best solution, again, give Pops to the keys to the studio. What would he do? We would go to Kill Tony. We would find scripts.
Mhm,
You would
right.
take these are the people that are willing to go there, and you're making, a $30 million movie. You're not making $200 million movies. You're making,
No.
a $30 million movie. You're dropping 5 million on this person. You may not be able to afford them whenever it becomes a massive hit
Yeah.
next time. That's totally fine. You have to be willing to go. I may not be able to do this more than once,
Yeah.
but you can find the Eddie Murphy, you can find the Jim Carrey, you can find the next version of all these
Mhm,
things and have good hits and bring comedy back. Be a little risky and do some
yeah.
things that are interesting. And then with the sci-fi and all these genre things, there's so much material that never got adapted. Where are those scripts? Where are the screenplays? All the stuff that you guys optioned that didn't do anything with. And then,
Right.
like you said many times, there are things this that could be done right. Now, I don't know that we have faith that the new one that's coming will get Red Sonja right, but it feels like this is the direction of what we would have.
Mhm,
Yeah, okay, we could give Red Sonja a look. Now, I don't think they're going to do what we would do, but I feel like that would be the practice. That would be the best practice. A lower budget. We don't need to, we're not dropping $200 million on anything, but you just
yeah.
keep finding those things and focus on quality and story and character and some interesting things that people would actually want to see. So
Well,
yeah, it's
the
always a good
state of
time, my
comedy
friend.
is so bad. The state of comedy is so bad that Stephen Colbert just got himself canceled because no one's watching it, and he's not
Oh,
funny.
is something happened there? Did he get kicked off the show? Did they
Well, it's
cancel the
going to
show or
end in
something?
2016. It's going to be replaced in. It's going to come to an end. They're not even a
In next
replacement.
year
Yep, 2016. Yep, and
or
everyone's all cry.
2026?
Yeah, 2026. Yep, and
Okay.
did I say 16? It shows you how.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, what they need to do is, find someone like Joe Mackey or Tom Shalhoub and stuff like that to do the writing, and maybe even get Rogan.
I don't even think there's a place for late night TV anymore. I just don't think anybody cares. I think it's all clips and there's internet and it's like, is that the best use of your money on network TV anymore? I just think
Yeah,
they're used as just PR gimmicks for the studios and stuff.
right.
They're just not interesting shows like they were before. I, we could have a whole show on like how to deconstruct it and start over again, maybe, but
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't do. I can't tell you the last time I've
Well,
watched any of those shows. I've only watched clips of things.
mhm.
Never watched shows.
And that's why I say. That's why I say constantly. That's why Joe Rogan is so successful because he's not doing anything going out there with being intentionally political commentators or whatever like that. I know how he's so hated on by the group of people that he was part of, but he is, and I've said many times, he is like Larry King. He's this generation's Larry King when Larry King was on the radio. I mean, Larry King has had a face for radio. He should have stayed there. He should never have gone to CNN. He was the king of late night, and I used to
Yeah.
listen to him all the way through. And the conversations he had. He'd bring people on to have conversations. Of course, when he left, Art Bell became the king of late night, but that's neither here nor there. This is what Joe Rogan is. He's bringing people from all ilks of life. And what are they doing? They're just having a conversation. They're not plugging anything. It's like, okay, let's talk to Bernie Sanders. Okay, let's talk to JD Vance. If we go into politics here, and just have a
Mhm.
conversation, not doing promotion. Let's talk to Bill Murray. Let's talk to Ron White. But, it doesn't matter. Scientists, people with weird conspiracy theories, people in politics. He is that what late night used to be, and that's why he is the king on Spotify.
And he's inspired many of the others to do the same. So why would I
Right?
listen to whatever Stephen Colbert is or his replacement when I can listen to the others that are like Joe Rogan? They do shorter shows, but Tom
Yeah.
Segura has his own show.
Right.
I can go down the rabbit hole, and you see that this is just a whole culture of things where it's just interesting conversations. They don't all have to be for you, and you can kind of pick and choose a la carte what works for you. And I think that's what we're
Yeah.
trying to. That's what we're doing here on YouTube. I think we're just trying to have a good time, talk
Yeah.
about things that we want to
Fine.
talk about. You and I have kind of carved out a little niche of let's talk about some of the, I want to say they're not all cult movies per se, but they're just off a little bit from the normal mainstream stuff. We're going to do Chuck Norris, which is Invasion USA. We're going to do Dragon Slayer because you and I again like Red Sonja. And I don't think either one of us have seen that in too long, many moons.
Yeah, it's been
So
a
we'll
few.
just kind of keep down that avenue of things that are just a little bit off of the normal mainstream stuff that it's not really talk hard type material. We might touch on one or two of these type of movies a year. So this is a good chance for us to throw more of those against the wall for people to kind of know they're out there. So looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it a
Yeah.
lot. So
And just to remind you, Stephen Colbert destroyed that show so much, they're not even having a new host. The show is coming to a complete, utter, total end.
yeah, it's a
That's how
shame.
bad it
Yeah.
is. Right.
And I think it's
And
the state of entertainment. And the entertainment
yeah.
is the point where they don't seem to have awareness that we don't need them.
uh,
Comic books are doing this. We're seeing
Yeah.
Marvel getting run to the ground. DC, at least, is trying to piggyback off a couple of decent marketing ideas. So they've had
Mhm.
some better success in the last 12 to 18 months because of that. But we don't need them. When you have literally, we're like 80 years, you're talking about stuff that's in the public domain now. In the next 10 years, it's going to just completely change the world. I mean, you and I can just start pre-writing our golden age Superman stories because he'll be in
Oh.
the public. The golden age version of him will be in the public domain here very
And,
soon. And Batman will
and
follow, things of
Batman.
that nature. Yeah, Batman will follow soon after that.
Y-
Um,
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine 15 years from now. That's incredible that the world. So what do? Well, they're still just clutching at air, at nothing. And I'm like, there's just
Mhm.
too much choice. So more fodder for us to talk about, my friend. More fodder for us to talk about for sure. And it's
Yeah.
always good hanging out with you. And
Always
for those
fun
of you that are
hanging out with you,
watching,
Pops.
make sure you're connected to this guy. Make sure you're watching Pacific 414. Make sure you're watching the other stuff that Baron is on doing this thing out there. He's just a wealth of knowledge. And if you reach out to him, he might even join you for some of your conversations that you're having on your shows because he definitely brings a lot of that experience and wealth of knowledge to everything. So thank you again, my brother. It's always great to have you with me.
Always good, and it shows that I can behave. I'm on the show. Normally, I don't behave on Pop Talk, but as you can
No,
see, I can
no,
be tamed. I can be taught new tricks. Pops keeps
no.
me on the leash.
No, there's a role for all of us. I go on Roman of the Empire show to not behave. So if you want to see a different
Yeah.
version of me, watch me show up where I show up on there to not behave, to be the he says I'm the angel in this angel demon relationship. I'm always portrayed as but when I'm on, I'm more devilish than I possibly could imagine because that would be
Yeah.
the perfect shtick for that show. So yeah,
Oh,
we
and
got to
that's
do
my
it. We got to have fun. We got to
and
have
that's
fun.
my last advice I have. That's what I should have said earlier too. Read the room, know what you can get away with, and if you're going to another person's show, you are their guest, and be so.
Mhm.
And if it's a show that's outside of your realm, like if you're normally nuts, but this show isn't that way, adjust to it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't mean you can't have fun with it or have jokes, but know when to tame it down, know when to go all crazy. That's the other advice I have to give the YouTubers. Read the room
Yeah. Read the
and
room.
know what you're dealing
Read
with.
the room.
Mhm.
Read the room. Well, folks, make sure you're out there doing your part. Enjoy yourself, enjoy life, watch some good things. Can't recommend Red Sonja, but there are other stuff out there. We've talked about a lot of those good ones here on the show, so feel free to check that out. There'll be playlists in the description, of course. Make sure again you check out the stuff that he's over there doing and working on. But next time, you guys be blessed. Talk hard. We'll see you.
Arnold Schwarzenegger is Lord Kalidor, the most skillful warrior, the most daring swordsman, the greatest adventurer of all. One man can bring the world to justice, and one woman has the power to fight by his side. Red Sonja, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Brigitte Nielsen. Red Sonja, rated PG-13. Now playing. Check newspapers for a theater near you.